Hi everyone, it's Simon. Okay, all these recent features in Notion have really made it a top contender for easily building a personalised and truly usable to-do list system that is tailored to your use case. So in this video, ahead of releasing an updated LifeOS template and a more advanced Notion from scratch build tutorial on this very subject, I'm going to show you how to build a task list database with the new subtask and dependency features in a Notion workspace. And at the end of the video, I'll show you how to create a do today view that filters both parent and subtasks into a single view for the day of what's due. Brilliant. It's a super fast build demo. By the end of it, you will be ready to track and order your to-do lists and tasks even more effectively using Notion. Now, before we get building, what are subtasks and dependencies? Simply put, sub-items in Notion databases allow you to nest related items to a parent item in a database. This could be really nice as an approach actually for projects and then tasks as a different approach. Dependencies allow you to set dependent items in a timeline view so that you can see what needs to be done before something else or what is blocking something from being completed. I'll also be using these features for more than just tasks therefore, things like goals and the milestones to reach them, or more integrated project planning. So make sure to subscribe on the channel if you want more of this Notion productivity goodness. And of course, let me know in the comments how you're using these features. I'd also recommend subscribing to my Notion from scratch build series email list if you haven't yet, because I'll be showing you how to add these features into a much more comprehensive task and project manager build that's already there on the series. Now, damn Notion for innovating. I filmed these videos on subtasks and then they released the new feature that made it way better. So I'm refilming them and they're coming very soon. Right, let's do it. Right, so let's make a demo task list, to-do list with subtasks. So first of all, I'm going to call this to-do list and tasks. There we go. I'm going to put into here /inline database. We'll call this one task. We're going to want a status, so let's turn this to, you can either do status or a checkbox for done. It's up to you. I'm going to go with status. You can adjust those by looking in here, but we'll call it like that for now. Let's just cut some example tasks. There you are. We're going to want a due date column, so we'll add another column which is date, and we're going to call that due date. So it's when I want it to be done. If you double click that, nice little trick, it drops it down. And I like a daily priority, which is going to be a select column. And this is just a way to order tasks in the day. So I'm going to edit property, add an option. We're going to do quick first tasks, for example, and you would put these in the order that you want to see them. There you go. Name the database, and why not hide the database. And I'm going to add for this one an assignee. So we're going to go in, find either person, or if you want, you could do this with a relation to a relation database. So the way I've done it in my system is because I didn't really need a person database, I have a contacts database, I can link that as a relation and then use that as the person. But for now, I'm going to call this assignee. I'm going to give these some due dates. So I'm going to make this one today. Let's make this one Friday, let's make this one today, and let's make clean house on Saturday. And I quite like the view to be grouped by due date, hide empty groups, and then you get a nice view of them if you want, like that. I'm going to duplicate that for now, so we've got a couple of views, we've got all tasks, and this one is going to be task by day. Let's ungroup that. There you go, so that's a way of doing that if you want. So you've got tasks, but you could also group it by due date if you wanted to, so that you can see what you've got on each day. That's an option as well. Okay, now let's add the sub-item option. So to do this, you're going to click into the list and you'll see sub-items. I'm going to click on that, and I would like to rename these as sub-task and parent task, and it shows you what you're looking at. Nice. You could call that project and task if you wanted, that would be an option. And what you'll see is that's created essentially a relation to itself. Now, we used to do this ourselves, but now the thing is in there. That means that you now start to see these little things turn up. So for example, I can drop this down and add a new sub item, or even drop one in as a sub item. Look at that, pretty cool. So for example, buy cat food, wash food bowl. And that one, let's say, is also on the second. I'm going to prepare in order to do that one. How about that? And there you can see they show up with subtask and parent task. Simple. That's it, really. That's all you really need. We don't need to see these once they're set up, so you can hide them in your main view, or you could create a different view for it. Fantastic, and that's how that works. Now, what you might like to do is also create a quick task template. We're going to go new template. I'm going to call this new task. Give it an icon, nice. Give it a cover. Again, I'm going to use, there we go, we're editing a task. And you could go to subtasks. If you click on this and edit prop and customize page, and I can go to subtasks and make this as a page section. And the reason that is quite good is then you will see all the subtasks to a task, if it has one, down here. I'm going to move parent task up, reorder this in a way that I'd like to see it, so I can kind of set things if it has a parent task or not. So each time, if you're creating a subtask, you would go in and click and select the task that it was sub to, or even better, what you could do is, if we now go into feed pepper and use that new template, you'll see the two subtasks I've set for it show up beautifully just in that subtask view, and you can just literally add new subtasks there. That is a really powerful feature that's just built in now. Wonderful. Look at that, and it all looks very nice and joined together. Now, what I usually do with my task views is I will filter by status, and I would normally do this where you can only see if it's in progress or to do, which means that when it's completed, if we change it to done, it disappears. Now you'll see that what we have is a need for probably a task bin, so you might want to add that to your system as well, but generally what I find is that is enough to be able to clear it. Now there are more complicated ways you can work a task list. If you want to see more, check out some of my other videos or my templates. This is my Life OS template that's in development, and you'll see in this the way mine works is I have the sub items added into it, but what I'm doing here is it's filtered from a task inbox by relating it to a project. Let's say you relate that to a YouTube channel, it disappears into the system and you'll see it turn up down here, and you can manage it in like weekly board views. I'm also doing things like showing reports on subtasks, how many are outstanding, and showing them within the board view. So that's pretty cool. But for this, I think at the moment, we're just going to keep it nice and simple, because this shows you the basics. What you might want to do though is create a task bin view. So you could call this completed bin. For example, use the icons to design it, make it a table. So you would, for example, you just do the opposite here, filter by status and where it is completed. And that will just give you the bin. You could even do filters within your task, which I think is really nice. What you could then do is add a filter to this, which is assignee, and just leave it available. A good thing to do this is to turn these into an advanced filter, so it's more hidden, and then you have this nice assignee option where you can just go, let me just see the stuff that's by my name. I think that's quite nice. Cool, there you go. Do you like it? Well, let me know with a like button, boop. Right, next let's set up the dependencies feature. This will allow you to define when a task is waiting on another before it can be completed, and keep track of who you're waiting on if you are collaborating with others. Really cool. So first of all, add yourself a new view to the task list. We're going to pick timeline. You're going to call this dependent tasks view, or you could call it timeline and dependent tasks. I don't want to show the database title, I know what it is. I'm going to show the timeline by the due date. What's nice is you can see the table alongside it if you like it, and I quite like that. I don't mind it because you can kind of see the details within the table. I think that's a nice thing to keep things here, and you'll see this little dot that allows you to link tasks. Now what I'm going to do is you can either just link like can just take it and link it like that, or you can just literally go in and find dependencies. So let's do it. So we're going to take this down and connect it. You're going to create a new relation, and it will come up with either blocking or blocked by. That basically means it will describe which is blocking and which is blocked by. It's the same as subtasks. I'm going to leave it like that. So it would basically mean that something is blocking this. So we're going to create. What that means is if we go back to tasks, if we link these and we go back to tasks, you will see if we go into properties, we have blocked and blocked by. So you can, if you want, add the blocked by evidence in here. That's an option. I'm not going to worry about that in this. So in timelines and dependencies, what we can do is see the whole view, and you'll see that this is telling us what's doing what. So that's currently blocked by that, and so on. I can delete that. In terms of the properties that you can see, I would show the assignee, because then you're going to be able to see whose work is blocking whose. So I know that, for example, Tom needs to buy the cat food before I can feed Pepper. There, that's quite nice. Nice one, Pepper. And then we could also put within here, for example, its status. If we wanted to see the status that it's at, that's pretty good, I think. Also, while I'm here, I'm going to put in the due dates and the statuses for the subtasks within a view. I think that's really helpful. Great. So in a future video, I will also show you how to create this reporting view, which just tells you how many subtasks are outstanding for a parent. Depending on what view you're in, you'll be able to see it. I think that's pretty cool. I really particularly like this in my weekly board view, where you can lay it here and then see the subtasks below. Pretty cool. Now the next step to dependencies is to create something that just makes it a little bit more readable. I like that you can see the lines dropping down, but you know, I think that if I've got two that are stopping me from feeding Pepper, it's okay, but it's not that clear to read. You'll see if I go over to my existing setup, if I look in this week, I've created this, whether something is actionable or not. And if we look at my film video example from yesterday, you'll see it says whether something is actionable or not, if it's waiting or if it can be actioned. So let's, for example, this is the only one that can be actioned, set up my studio. If I set that as done, then it says I can film the A-roll, done, B-roll, done, upload the rushes, done, and the video is filmed, and I can tick it off. I think that's pretty cool. So the way this works is a formula and a roll-up. Here's how you do it. First of all, we're going to go back to our thing. We're going to create here, first of all, a roll-up, and we're going to call this blocked by report. We're going to create it. We're going to turn that into a roll-up. Select into here, you want to select the relation of blocked by, then you want to pick the status of anything that is in the blocked by relation to that master task, and then I want to set a percentage group which is complete, and it's going to show me how much is complete. So we have a percentage, yeah. So for example, if we're in feed Pepper, if I select this as done, which is blocking it, 50% done, select this as done, 100% done. That's what we need to report this. I've undone that there. So next we're going to create a formula, and we'll call this one actionable. Okay, select that. Let's give it a little symbol, which helps. I quite like that kind of alert thing. We're going to call this one a formula, like that, okay? And into here, we're going to write the following. If blocked by report is greater, is less than 1, this, I'm going to go into my emoji and symbols. You can use function on a Mac, or I think command period, then say it's fine, and we'll say action. Otherwise, I want you to say, again, go to edit, emoji and symbols, the red dot, waiting. Close the brackets. But this needs to go there, and this needs to go there. And then you'll see that with the formula that way round, you can tell that everything that isn't blocked is actionable, anything that is blocked is waiting. Let's test it out. I'm going to set that one as done. Fine. They were both, if you remember, directly blocking feeding Pepper. So if I now select this one as done, this one says it's actionable. It means I've completed it and I can check off the entire thing. Fantastic. That is how that works. I think it's rather good. You can then just hide this in the view, reduce down your actionable view, and you can put that somewhere you would like it. If you want to keep seeing the blocked by, that's good. The other really good thing is you can see here that I'm waiting on someone else, and you can then look and go, oh, okay, Tom needs to action that so that Simon can carry on. How about it? So if you want to take a moment just to pause the video, you can copy that formula to make sure you absolutely have it correctly. If block by report is less than 1, which is 100%, it's waiting, otherwise it's actionable. Done. That's how you do it. Okay, finally, let's create a do today filtered view for all of our tasks. I've noticed in the Notion community, lots of people have been trying to work this one out about how do you see both parent and sub items in a filtered view of a database, because generally if you filter by a date, it will only filter the parent items. This is how to do it. Insert up here, and I'm just going to do an H3. This is a nice way to do things. In fact, why don't I show you my new design approach? I'm going to do a call out, drop that in. I'm going to change this icon to a task list view, and I'm going to use one of my custom icons, which will be ready for you very soon. Sign up to the mailing list on the website if you want to be on that waiting list. We'll drop it in, and I'm going to make the color default background. I've got a nice little area, and we're going to call this one do today. So then below that, I'm going to do / linked. I want a linked view of a database here, and I want the database to be my tasks demo, which is the one we've been working on. I'm going to use the basic task view that we had. I'm going to take that and drop it into my call out, and we have a nice looking today view, which I think looks great. And for the sake of argument, let's get a little bit of space down here just so we can see what we're looking at. Now, in this do today view, we're going to want to filter the view first of all so that we can add a rule. I'm going to make it an advanced filter, and I know that the status is not started or progress, but I'm also going to add a second filter and where due date is today. So let's just set the due date for that as today, and you'll see feed Pepper turns up, which is good. However, what you will find is if we undo that and we make just one of these due today, which it is, you're seeing it's not turning up. And that's because currently the filter only works for the master task, the parent task, not the subtasks. So in order to make this show everything, we need to add a second filter. So we're going to go in here, and you're going to make this a grouped filter, and we're going to add something in there in a moment. In order to do it, you need to add one more column, and we're going to call this subtasks today. And this is going to be a roll up, and into that you want to select the relation as subtask. You want the property to be due date and show original. So if we make sure we show that property in this one as well, just so you can see what we're talking about, you'll see that therefore under feed Pepper, you will also see that any due dates are drawn up into that current view from the previous one. So these two items are drawn up into there. And that means that we can now go back to our filter, add a filter rule, and it will be or where subtasks due today, any is today. And brilliantly, it now shows me any tasks that are due today. In fact, I've accidentally added one there. Look, let's delete that. And there you go. They are now visible. That is how you filter so that you can see both subtasks and parent tasks in a do today view. Perfect. So those are the basics to manage your to-do list in Notion. Of course, there is loads more, however, that we can do with this, including things like progress bars for groups of tasks, linking it to a filtered project view, and even adding it to a weekly board view. But for that, you'll have to go get involved with my Notion from Scratch series, where we are building a complete Notion second brain from scratch whilst learning the fundamentals of the system. Or alternatively, you can go download one of my Notion Life OS templates over on bettercreating.com, where I'll soon be releasing an updated version that will include these amazing new features optimized into a great user experience. Finally, if you do want to go further getting things done, check out these videos next for more great productivity tips and Notion hacks. It would be great if you subscribed, amazing if you left a comment, and I'll see you on the next one.